Hello everyone. So here is a quick video on how to navigate and extract data from the SEER database. I already have a video recorded previously on how to extract data from the SEER database. However, SEER have introduced a new software, which means if you are using the old software, you may not be able to extract the data unless you have to use the new software. And I will show you the new software in a second. But in the meantime, here are two different data sets you can actually have access to. We have the SEER Research Plus and the National Child Cancer Registry data, which is the NCCR data. And then we have the SEER Research data. So we have the SEER Research Plus and the NCCR data and the SEER Research data. So usually everyone have access to the SEER Research data. But then for you to be able to have the SEER Research data have an additional information which includes the childhood cancer data and then any other additional data. And for you to be able to have access to the SEER Research Plus and the NCCR data, you have to be able to have NIH Commons account. And then also you have to be able to get someone within your institution for the person to sign off for you to actually have access to the data. But then regardless, most of the time, most data set, you can actually get it in the SEER Research data. So unless you want to focus on, for instance, the children cancer, then you probably have to be able to get access to the NCCR data. Okay. So once you are on this platform, the new software that has been introduced by SEER is called that is the new version of the software, which is the SEER Star version 9041. So this is the new version. They are actually looking at introducing another version, which is 9042. But unfortunately, something happened, so they have to actually fix it. But in the meantime, I want to believe once you're able to navigate through the database, which has to do with the software 9041, you should be able to also navigate through the 9042. So once you have downloaded and installed your software, you are going to have an icon like this. Okay, so you just have to double click the icon. So once you have double clicked the icon, the way in which you can actually enter into the database, if you click on the case listing, it asks for your password. So you put in your SEER password. Usually it's 12 or at least 12 character password. So, yeah. So once you put in your password and you click OK, this is what actually pop up. So you just have to close it and then now it opens. So unlike the previous one, this one, there's a dialog box that opens with the database, okay? So right here, you can have several information, which also include, if you need any help, you can have help here, which can tell you so much information about the data set you have here. I have access to the SEER Research Plus data and then the NCCR data because I signed through my NIH Common ER platform and also have someone sign up from my institution. So I have access to a more data set than somebody who might just be using the SEER Research data. But like I said, either way, the process of be able to extract the data is still the same. So once you have at the data platform, you have been able to open your database, you can get more information about the variables or the directories, other informations and directories over here. So once you click view, you'll be able to. So this one actually opens several information in which you can actually read. So if you want some information about the documentation of the variables, you can actually click and then that give you several information in which you can actually learn more about the variable description and others. For instance, data description and for the SEER research and research plus. Okay, so once you click it, you are able to view all information about how the data were collected, the different variables were collected. Okay, yeah. And then also you can actually look at, if you want to look at the data dictionary, so we have the dictionary of the SEER variables. If you click there, you are able to understand the meaning of all the variables in which you have in the database. Okay, so this is just to give you an idea of how you can actually have access to understanding how the data was collected, some documentation, and even some methodologies that was actually used. Let's go back to the software. So once you are at the software, you have different data set you can actually look out for. So we have the county attribute, we have the standard populations, we have the incidence data. Yeah, usually most people will be using the incidence data. So the incident data you have it, you have the data, it tells you from what year have the data been collected. So for instance, this data have been collected from 75 to 2022, and then and so on and so forth. So, and then it also tells you how many registrars is within that database, right? So, for instance, this one has 8 registry, this one has 22 registry, this one has 70 registry, and usually the number of registries you actually choose, the better. Okay, so let's assume we want to stick with the first, we want to stick with the incidence data, and we are looking at 8 registry, which is a data which is from 1975 to 2022. So we click OK. Then there will be another dialog box that pop up, so just go ahead and click OK. So once you are at another interface open, so once you are here is where you actually have to start thinking of how am I able to actually collect the data. So now for more information about the database we actually selected, it said this is the name of the database. Again, incidentia research data, 18 registry, which is from 1975 to 2022. And then it's also linked to county attributes. Okay, that's time dependent. And then it also tells you, the database ID and any other additional information. And once you have actually extracted your data, here is the proposed citation in which SEER have actually given you. So for instance, if you use it for your research and then your research is being published, this is the citation you have to give for the data set you actually extracted. Okay, so once you are here, the next thing you have to do is to go to select. Now, once you have come to select, the next thing is to actually, you are now going to tell the database what information you actually want to select, which is maybe the cancer type, the years. You might not want to select all the years from 1975 to 2022. Maybe you might just want to select, let's say, from 2000 to 2022, right? And then you might want to select a particular type of cancer. It could be breast cancer, it could be prostate cancer, it could be lung cancer, it could be colorectal cancer, right? And so, and then maybe even the age, you might want to focus on a specific age. So now over here, you go to edit. Now, once you come to edit, another dialog box pop up. Then you click on this plus sign, new line. Once you have clicked on the new line, here is where another dialog box pop up where you can actually select every how you would want to collect your data, right? The information you actually need in your data. Now, whenever you click on this plus sign, there will be a drop-down menu. Okay, so we have age at diagnosis. So for instance, age at diagnosis, assuming regarding age at diagnosis, I want to focus on maybe a specific age, which is, let's say, from teens, right? Let's say I am looking at, I want to look at breast cancer, and usually, let's say breast cancer is kind of an aging disease, right? And usually, let's say it might be starting from people within the age of 40 years, right? So let's say I'm looking at age of 40 years all the way to 90 years plus, okay? So now, once you select, if you look at here, it said a selection statement line. Now it means that that data have been actually selected, right? So you can actually go ahead and click OK, right? Then you can actually select another line in which you said, okay, so for instance, the years we have, if you click on sex, race, sex, year, this drop down menu give you the years of diagnosis. So I want to focus on, let's say, probably from 2010, okay, to 2022. So I select that. I highlight on it, and then I hold and then drag so that it highlighted on all the years for me. So I go to OK, and then now I go to OK. So now it have been able to select the years, okay? So what I didn't select is I haven't selected yet the type of cancer. So I can go back and then select the type of cancer. So if you look at the site and morphology, okay, the site and morphology is where you are able to actually know what type of cancer are you looking at focusing on, okay? If you click on the site code, the international classification, the ICD 03 WHO 2008, which is the international classification with the World Health Organization, right? So if you click on this, there will be a drop-down menu at the right here in this value box, okay? So in the value box, you can actually now go ahead and then look for the type of cancer you actually want to select. So let's assume I'm interested in breast cancer. I click on breast cancer. If I'm interested in more than one cancer, I can select all those. I can hold on the control key on my Windows keyboard and then select additional cancer diseases. But let's say I'm looking at only breast cancer. And you can also use this to find a particular variable, okay, or a particular disease you are actually looking for, okay. Again, if you want to understand the meaning of this dialog box which pop up, you can click here right here, which is the help, and then there will be an open another window will open which will actually explain to you the meaning of that help. So always you can utilize this question mark here to be able to understand a dialog box that have pop up and how to utilize it. Okay. So now I have selected breast cancer. So I go to OK. Okay, so now I have been able to select it. So now at this stage, my selection from the database is focused on ages 40 years and above. And then I'm actually looking at selecting, I will focus on all races, assuming I wanted to focus on a specific race, then under here, I would have just go to race, and let's say I want to focus on Black race, or maybe any other race, okay? Yeah, but then I want to focus on all races, so I will actually leave it as it is. Okay, and then there are also additional, so this race give you just about 4 different groups of the race, but you can actually get several group of the race and then select a specific race. Okay, yeah, so you just have to explore these folders here by just opening them to understand what information they are. So this one actually gives you some information on the patient, give you the days of follow-up. This one right there actually give you the race and ethnicity. For instance, if you click here, you are able to focus on, let's say maybe you are interested in focusing on non-Hispanic Black, non-Hispanic white, maybe non-Hispanic American Indian Alaska Native. You want to only focus on Hispanic, non-Hispanic Asian Islander. Maybe you want to focus on only the Hispanic population, right? So that's how you can actually select, okay? But I'm not interested in any of those. I'm looking at all races, so I don't have to select. So now I'll just have to close it So let me, so I don't need this, so I close it now. I go here and then I'll just go to OK. So now I have selected something on the age, the years of diagnosis, and then the site morphology, which is focusing on breast cancer. And you can see the equal sign here. Okay, it's telling you what the database is now focused on. Now I can go to my table. Now here is where I'm now going to actually organize my table. Okay, select the needed variables. Okay, so now I go to age. If you come down here, available variables, if I go to age, I can now select age and then I now click on column. Okay, and then I push it here, right here. So, and remember the age we focus on was from 40 years and above. Then, for instance, race, we have this variable here, which is focusing on white, black, and other, but I don't want this race variable. So I want sex. So I click on sex, then I click on column so that it will pull it into the display variables here. Okay. Then under the years, I also need the years. So I click on the years and then I put it in this column. Then under the site morphology, so I can click it and then also minimize the folder. Then I can go to the site morphology. The site morphology, if you want to make sure everything you selected is actually focusing on breast cancer, you actually select this site recode ICD 03 code 2008. Okay, so I have selected that. And then there are other information you can actually select under the site morphology, right? So you can actually select histology type, you can select primary site, you can select the grade of the cancer, right? And then the grade of the cancer, they have different forms. We have the grade clinical, we have the grade pathological, and then we have the laterality of the cancer, right? So let's say I want to look at something on the primary site, which I know the primary site already have been selected. So I also want to, so I can hit on this and then select it. So let's say primary site. Maybe I want to add histology type. And before you select any variable, you have to be able to read the literature about that variable on breast cancer before you select. So depending on the area in which you are investigating will actually depict which variable to select. Okay, so let's say I want to include a grade, but I want to include all this on grade variable to be able to understand which grade variable is appropriate. Then I want to also include the laterality of the cancer. So let's assume I want to also include some information on the malignancy of the cancer. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So and then also there are other variables. So let me minimize this one. Okay, then we can go here and then so you just have to look through all these folders to be able to know the needed variables you have to actually select. But mostly depending on the research you are actually conducting. For instance, if you are conducting something on survival or maybe time to treatment initiation of the cancer, you might actually want to look at something on the extent of the disease, right? So let's see, we have this information, which this information over here, if you are looking at breast cancer, for instance, maybe I might want to look at the subtype of the breast cancer, right? I want to look at the tumor size of the breast cancer, right? So two different tumor size of the breast cancer, maybe something on the original node and stuff and others. Okay, so let me minimize this. And then maybe you want to actually look at maybe the therapy, okay? Maybe you are focusing on surgical treatment of breast cancer. So you might want to select something on the surgery, okay? Maybe you are looking at both the surgical treatment and radiotherapy, which is a sequence of which the treatment was conducted. Okay, you can select, maybe you want to actually look at something more specifically on maybe radiation, right? So you might just want to, select radiation, right? And then also there's what we have. So if you want to look at time from diagnosis to the treatment of the cancer, okay? So there's what you actually select, which is, and that allow you to actually perform time to treatment initiation analysis, right? And then also you have, there's also an additional something that has to do with the chromosome, the glycosomes patterns and stuff and others. All these are, again, you have to be able to understand the variables before you go ahead and then select the variable. And then extent of the disease, you can actually look through and then make the needed selection. Okay, so now another thing, which is also the cause of death, okay? The cause of death is where, especially if you want survival analysis, you are doing survival analysis, you have to select the months. And then also, if you are doing something on survival analysis, once you have selected the survival months, you have to select the vital status, right? Which give you the event, okay? Because if you might want to use, let's say, a model like a method like cost proportional hazard model, which means you need a survivor month in addition with the vital status, right? Yeah. And then additional other information in which you might also want to look at. For instance, we have the race and then age. So for instance, I want to focus on this particular race, which give me all the non-Hispanic group, right? That the non-Hispanic, white, non-Hispanic, Black, Asian, Indian, Alaska Native, American, Indian, Alaska Native, Asian, and then Hispanic. So there's the race variable I want to use, so I select it. Okay, and then there are other variables like the dates. Okay, so maybe you might want to look at something on follow-up record. Okay, if you are dealing with something that has to do with follow-up, then you might also want to select it. And then we have other variables which can also be selected. Particularly if you click on the county attributes, it gives you, you can select the median household income, and then you can also select the rural urban continuum. It tells you whether the individual stays in a rural area or an urban area. Okay, so some of the demographic characteristics of the individual. Okay, so you can explore all these folders to actually look to get the variable you actually desire for your analysis. But once you are done here, another thing you can actually do is to reorganize the columns. So this one will give you the columns of your data set. So usually I would want the years of diagnosis to come first, okay? The year of diagnosis. So can use these two buttons to push it up, okay? And then I want it to follow by the individual demographic characteristics. So I have age, I have sex. So I can go and select the race, the median, and then the rural urban continuum. So I select all of them using the control sign. So I hit on control and then I can select as many columns as possible. Now I can push all of them together. I can push all of them together. Okay, so now I want it to come all the way after the 6. Okay, so I have it here. And then maybe you might want to reorganize the tumor characteristics of the individual, right? And then usually I want the vital time of the survivor, the vital status of survivor, and then the survivor months to be last, which is already here. And then we have the treatment time as well. And then we have the different type of treatment and tumor characteristics of the individual, which is also found here. So now once you are done, the next thing is for you to be able to actually export. So you can actually click on output here, okay? And then maybe you can type in breast cancer So let's say I'm saying SEER breast cancer data, right? And then I say the underscore 2010 to, let's say 2010 to 2022. Okay, all right. So that's it. So now I can actually go to export. So once I go to export, it asks me where do I actually want to export this, okay? So now you can actually locate a place on your computer and then export it, okay? I have a folder which I already created as SEER data, which I store all my SEER data. So that's where I actually want it to be. But then I'm also going to give it the name SEER breast cancer. So 2010 to 2022. Okay. Then I go, okay, save. So once I have done this, it can actually, it will go ahead and then have it available in that folder. But just before I open it, sometimes it takes a little time before it completes the downloading of the data. But another thing you can also do is once you are here, you can actually click on execute. And then you click on OK. So now with this, it will actually give you a spreadsheet of the data set. And now if you don't want to actually save it to a particular directory, like export it, we use the export tool. Once the spreadsheet is ready, you can actually copy from the spreadsheet. So there's the spreadsheet you have, which has all the variables for you, okay? So this spreadsheet has all the variables. If you click here, you can see that it gives you all the variable, all the way to all the way to the survivor time and survivor status. Okay, let me enlarge. Let me maximize this. Okay, so this is what we have, right? Yeah. Okay, so now at this point, you can actually just, what you can do, you can copy column by column, okay? You can just highlight and then you can, let's say, open your Excel. You can open your Excel and then so you can over here, once you have highlight, you can say Control C and open your Excel and copy, okay? Paste. Oh, oops. So you say copy. Yeah, so it will take time to copy. So it's copying column 1. And then remember it says the number of observation is, we have over 200,000 individuals or rows, okay? So it's copying. But in the meantime, let's look at the folder in which my SEER folder, okay? So in my SEER folder, this is where I actually have the data available, okay? So the data is available here, which is given in a text form, okay? The data is given in a text form. But what you can actually do is also, if you want it to be in a CSV file, it's taking too long to copy. Yeah. Yeah, let me cancel this. But basically, that's how you can actually copy the entire, or you can even highlight control or, and then copy everything. Or you can highlight and then use the control. Whilst you hold on control, you can copy each column and then you can copy and paste in your Excel file, okay? But then again, let us, using the execute sign, let us look at where you can actually, you can change the file format. So execute. Now, so if you click on this export, now at this point, it actually asks you whether, how do you want to export? Do you want to export it as a text file or you want to export it as a CSV file? Okay, so usually I want to export as a CSV file. So if you want to export it as a CSV file, then you actually have to ensure that you make changes to reflect that. Okay, so so these are the different files in which that can be actually exported. Okay, yeah. So let's say you want to actually have it as CSV file, so you have to click on default CSV. Okay, CSV defaults. So that way now it changes from text file. Now, if you go back to default here it gives you as a text file. Okay, if you click it, if you select for the first time, it gives you as a text file, but then you have to change it to CSV file so that it can be in an Excel sheet for you to actually use, which become much easier. But if you want to use a text too, you can also use a text file. So you can go to, let's cancel. So now let's browse. And then once you have browsed, you can, I want the name to be SEER breast cancer 2010 to 2022, right? Okay, so I can go to save. Okay, so it says this already exists, but I don't want it in a text file. So let's see. So now I change the text to what? CSV. Okay. So now it will be able to go ahead, and then if I go to OK, it might take a little while, but then it shouldn't take longer, depending on the speed of your computer. So, okay. So like I was saying, you can also, copy. Yeah, the copy usually is, I'm not sure why it's even taking longer here, because it also usually is really quick. Yeah, but then there you are. So you see the data have been saved here. So you can actually, I have both the text file, I have the CSV file, because initially I downloaded the text file and I had to go back and change the path to CSV, right? The format to CSV. So now you can click on it and okay. So it might ask you some few questions, so you can just say yes, convert, and then it will just have everything converted to CSV. And so you have your data. If you highlight on a particular column, it tells you the number of observation, which is exactly the number of observation we originally have. And then also at the same time, you are able to know how many columns do you have. We have 24 columns. Okay. So this is it for a quick demo on how to actually extract data from the SEER database using the new SEER software. Okay. All right. So if you have any question, leave your question in the comment and I'll be more than happy to answer it. Take care.